5 key takeaways from the Knicks' victory over the Celtics. At Madison Square Garden, the lights were bright, the crowd electric, and the energy unmistakable. On this night, the New York Knicks looked every bit like a team ready to contend. With a 105-95 win over the Boston Celtics, New York improved to 2-0, marking its second consecutive statement victory to open the season. Under new head coach Mike Brown, the Knicks are already displaying a blend of toughness, discipline, and balance that fans have long been waiting to see. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. First, the Knicks take control in a game-changing second quarter. Early on, the Celtics had control. Jaylen Brown came out aggressive, Derek White hit timely shots, and Boston's ball movement had New York on its heels. After one quarter, the Celtics led 30-22 and looked sharp. But what happened next completely shifted the game's narrative. The Knicks exploded for a 42-14 second quarter, a dominant stretch that defined the night. It started with an 11-0 run sparked by Jalen Brunson's precision and Josh Hart's relentless energy. The Knicks played suffocating defense, forcing Boston into rushed possessions and capitalizing in transition. As the momentum built, the Celtics unraveled. New York followed up with a 17-0 blitz, then closed the half on a 12-0 surge. By halftime, the scoreboard read 64-44 Knicks, a staggering 28-point swing in just 12 minutes. Boston's rhythm evaporated as the Garden roared, feeding off every stop and every basket. From that point on, the Celtics were playing catch-up, and they never truly got back into it. It was a masterclass in execution, the kind of quarter that shows exactly what Mike Brown wants this team to be: fast, physical, and focused. Second, Jalen Brunson leads the charge once again. When the game tightened late, there was no panic, because Jalen Brunson was in complete control. The Knicks floor general finished with 31 points, continuing to prove he's the engine that drives this team. Brunson dictated tempo, attacked switches, and delivered in the clutch. Each time Boston trimmed the lead, Brunson responded. Mid-range jumper. Step-back three. Drive to the rim. Whatever the moment called for, Brunson delivered. His poise under pressure and command of the offense are setting the tone for the Knicks' identity this season. But it's not just his scoring, it's the leadership. Brunson's communication, discipline, and accountability have transformed the culture in New York. 2 games in, he's already emerging as one of the most consistent and dependable players in the Eastern Conference. Third, Karl-Anthony Towns plays through pain and dominates. Karl-Anthony Towns was questionable before tip-off with a right quad strain. Most players would have sat out. He didn't. And for 36 minutes, he was everywhere. Towns delivered 26 points and 13 rebounds, adding a powerful inside presence and stretching the floor with his shooting touch. He controlled the glass, protected the rim, and made life difficult for Boston's bigs all night. His toughness, playing through pain and still dominating, showed just how invested he is in this Knicks project. Towns' chemistry with Brunson is also developing quickly. Their pick-and-pop game is smooth, and their spacing gives New York's offense a new layer of versatility. For years, the Knicks have lacked a true inside-out threat. Now, they have one who's proving he can lead, even when not at 100%. Fourth, the Celtics struggle without Jason Tatum. For Boston, this was another harsh reminder of what life without Jason Tatum looks like. The Celtics are now 0-2 without their superstar, who continues to recover from an Achilles tear suffered in the playoffs. Jaylen Brown did his best, finishing with 23 points on his 29th birthday, but he lacked consistent help. Sam Hauser provided a spark off the bench with 18 points on 6 made threes, and Derek White added steady contributions. Still, Boston's defense completely collapsed in that second quarter, their second straight game allowing 42 points in a single period. Without Tatum's scoring balance and defensive communication, the Celtics looked disjointed. The result wasn't just a loss. It was an early warning that Boston's depth may not be enough to carry them through extended stretches without their franchise cornerstone. Fifth, a scare for OG Anunoby, a boost from Josh Hart. The one concern for New York came late in the fourth quarter when OG Anunoby went down after contesting a shot. He appeared to grab at his knee or upper thigh, immediately limping off the floor. Already dealing with a left ankle sprain, Anunoby's health will be closely monitored in the coming days. His importance to this Knicks team cannot be overstated. Anunoby is the defensive anchor on the perimeter, the player who takes on every tough matchup, from wings to guards, and does it with relentless energy. Offensively, he continues to evolve as a spot-up shooter and slasher, fitting seamlessly into Mike Brown's system. On the bright side, Josh Hart made his season debut after missing the opener and made an instant impact. In just 19 minutes, Hart grabbed 14 rebounds, a testament to his hustle, instincts, and sheer will. His effort helped swing momentum early and set the tone for New York's physicality. Hart's return gives the Knicks another weapon, a player who thrives in chaos and does all the little things that win games. When the final buzzer sounded, the Garden crowd rose to its feet, chanting and celebrating a win that felt bigger than just Game 2 of the season. Under Mike Brown, the Knicks look tougher, more connected, and more mature. Brunson is playing like a star. Towns is proving his worth. The supporting cast, from Hart to Anunoby, is showing depth and defensive identity. This is no longer the scrappy underdog team of past seasons. This version of the Knicks looks composed, structured, and built to compete with anyone. 2 games in, and New York has already made its intentions clear. These Knicks are here to stay, hungry, unified, and ready to make their mark on the Eastern Conference. Did Paul Pierce just take another shot at the Knicks? Paul Pierce is back in New York City, and once again, he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Boston Celtics legend, known as one of the most polarizing figures in NBA history, reignited his long-running feud with New York Knicks fans during his latest appearance at Madison Square Garden. It's a rivalry that never seems to fade, and this time, Pierce added yet another chapter to the saga with one short but fiery video. The Hall of Famer attended the Knicks-Celtics clash at MSG, a game already charged with emotion and history. As the cameras panned across the crowd, Pierce took matters into his own hands, recording a message that quickly set social media ablaze. In the clip, Pierce looked directly into the camera, oozing the same confidence and swagger that defined his career, and delivered a message aimed straight at the heart of Knicks fans. "Don't play with me. I got a lot of game winners on this floor. Come on now, I got a lot of them. Don't play with me. Go to YouTube, check it out," Pierce boasted. Within minutes, his comments went viral, and so did the backlash. Knicks fans flooded social media, ready to challenge every word of his claim. While no one can deny that Pierce had his moments of brilliance at the Garden, the numbers tell a different story. Throughout his 19-year NBA career, Pierce recorded just 7 official game-winning buzzer beaters. One of them, arguably the most memorable for Boston fans, came on December 15, 2010, when he drained a jumper with 0.4 seconds remaining to give the Celtics a 118-116 win over New York. It was a classic Pierce moment, calm under pressure, cold-blooded execution, and the signature smirk that followed. Still, the idea that he had a lot of game winners at Madison Square Garden didn't quite hold up to scrutiny. Fans and analysts alike called out the exaggeration, with several reminding him that his overall record against the Knicks was far from dominant. Yet, in true Pierce fashion, the former NBA champion didn't seem to care. His message wasn't about accuracy, it was about pride. And in the never-ending tug-of-war between Boston and New York, pride has always been the real battleground. This wasn't the first time Pierce has courted controversy with Knicks Nation. In fact, his beef with New York's fanbase has been brewing for years, and it reached a boiling point in 2024. That was the year the former Celtic went viral for stomping on a Jalen Brunson jersey after the Knicks' playoff elimination to the Indiana Pacers. The moment drew outrage from New York supporters across the internet. Later, on FS1's Undisputed, Pierce defended his actions unapologetically, saying his message wasn't directed at Brunson personally but at the Knicks faithful as a whole. "It was a Knick jersey," Pierce said at the time. "I saw a Knick jersey and I had to stomp on it because I'm tired of these Knick fans talking their stuff." The quote instantly became fuel for Knicks fans, who never forgot it. So when Pierce resurfaced at MSG this week, it felt less like a casual appearance and more like the return of a familiar villain. Every smirk, every boast, every word out of his mouth added to the tension that has defined this rivalry for decades. Knicks fans clapped back. If there's one thing New Yorkers are known for, it's never backing down, and Knicks fans made sure Pierce heard them loud and clear. The comment sections across X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram were flooded with biting, sarcastic, and flat-out brutal replies. His last Celtic memory was getting eliminated by the Knicks, one fan reminded him, referencing the 2013 playoffs when New York sent Boston packing. "Got him up out of there in 2013, another posted, with a string of laughing emojis. LMAO dude, your Celtics going nowhere this year, another fan taunted. They let you out to talk trash? They could have kept you for that, one user joked. And perhaps the most cutting responses came from fans armed with facts. Screenshots of Pierce's actual game winners surfaced quickly, debunking his claims in cold, statistical fashion. He definitely doesn't have a lot of game winners on that floor, one fan wrote. That man talks more nonsense than any retired NBA player. Others went even further, suggesting that Pierce's antics were less about confidence and more about desperation for relevance in a new era dominated by stars like Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's 2025 and this man still thinks we care, one fan posted. Bro, your era ended a decade ago. Yet, in a way, that's exactly what makes Pierce's behavior so captivating. Even long after his playing days, he continues to command attention. Love him or hate him, he knows how to get people talking, and in the world of sports entertainment, that's half the battle. Still, for Knicks fans, the bitterness runs deep. Madison Square Garden is sacred ground, and any outsider who mocks it, especially one wearing green, is going to face the wrath of one of the most passionate fan bases in sports. For years, New York supporters have taken pride in their loyalty, standing by the team through every heartbreak, rebuild, and playoff run. To them, Pierce's latest jab wasn't just about bragging rights, it was a reminder of every insult ever thrown their way. As the echoes of Pierce's comments continue to reverberate through social media, one thing is certain, the rivalry between Paul Pierce and New York isn't going anywhere. He may have retired years ago, but to Knicks fans, he'll always be the enemy in green. The guy who hit big shots at the Garden, talked endless trash, and never missed a chance to stir the pot. And in a league where old grudges often fade, this one refuses to die. The Celtics legend might be done playing, but as long as he keeps taking shots, literal or verbal, Knicks fans will be right there to fire back. Because in New York, the Garden never forgets. NBA analyst urges Knicks to pursue Giannis Antetokounmpo. Could a blockbuster move change everything in New York? The New York Knicks are once again in the headlines. Not for drama, not for disappointment, but for possibility. As the 2025-26 NBA season begins, one analyst is pushing the team to think bigger than ever. Go after Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Knicks enter this season with something they haven't had in years: stability, depth, and legitimate championship aspirations. After last year's strong playoff run that ended in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Indiana Pacers, New York's confidence is higher than it's been in over a decade. Under head coach Mike Brown, the team has embraced a defensive identity paired with a more fluid offensive system. The addition of key bench pieces over the summer only solidified their standing as a serious contender in the East. But even with momentum on their side, there's a sense that the Knicks are one superstar away from making the ultimate leap, from contender to title favorite. That's where Giannis Antetokounmpo enters the conversation. In Milwaukee, the Bucks are trying everything possible to keep their franchise cornerstone happy. They've reshaped the roster around him multiple times, shuffled through coaching changes, and made bold trades in the name of competing for championships. Yet, as the years go by, the uncertainty surrounding Giannis's future continues to grow. The two-time MVP is still one of the most dominant players on the planet, a generational talent who changes the identity of any team he joins. And as he enters his early 30s, the pressure to win another ring is only intensifying. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, Giannis reportedly mentioned the Knicks as the only team he'd consider playing for outside of Milwaukee during internal discussions about his long-term plans this offseason. That revelation instantly reignited speculation around the league. For a franchise like New York, one that's been searching for a true superstar to carry them back to glory, that's not just a rumor. It's a potential opportunity. Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz echoed the sentiment, calling Antetokounmpo the Knicks' most ambitious trade target for this season. He pointed out that the team's salary structure actually makes such a deal more feasible than most might think. With so many high-salary players, a trade for Antetokounmpo and his $54.1 million salary would be easier for the Knicks than for most teams, Swartz wrote. A third franchise would likely need to be involved, with Karl-Anthony Towns or OG Anunoby headed to a contender who would then send young players and draft picks back to the Bucks. Of course, trading for Giannis would be one of the most complex transactions in NBA history. Milwaukee isn't just giving up a star, they'd be parting with the face of their franchise, the player who delivered them their first championship in 50 years. Any trade would require a massive haul of assets in return, likely including multiple first-round picks, young talent, and significant salary-matching contracts. That's where the challenge lies for New York. The Knicks aren't overflowing with top-tier prospects or excess draft capital. Most of their best players, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, are either too essential to include or carry contracts that complicate trade mechanics. Still, if Giannis were to make it known that he wants out of Milwaukee, leverage could shift quickly. In that scenario, the Knicks could position themselves as one of the few teams both willing and capable of taking on his massive contract while still fielding a competitive roster around him. And make no mistake, adding Antetokounmpo would instantly elevate the Knicks into championship territory. Imagine a frontcourt featuring Giannis alongside Towns or Isaiah Hartenstein, with Brunson running the offense and Bridges anchoring the perimeter defense. It's a mix of power, skill, and leadership that could redefine the balance of power in the Eastern Conference, and perhaps the entire league. There's also the off-court dimension to consider. For years, Madison Square Garden has been waiting for the kind of global superstar who can reignite basketball's biggest stage. Giannis, with his international appeal and relentless drive, fits that profile perfectly. His arrival in New York wouldn't just transform the team, it would electrify the city. Ticket demand would skyrocket, the national spotlight would shift back to MSG, and the Knicks brand would once again become synonymous with championship-level basketball. Still, realism matters. The Bucks have no interest in moving their franchise player unless he explicitly asks for it. As of now, Giannis remains committed to Milwaukee, at least publicly. But in today's NBA, situations can shift overnight. A few disappointing months, a clash with management, or another early playoff exit could completely change the picture. For now, it's all speculation. Yet, for the Knicks, speculation like this represents progress. Not long ago, New York wasn't even mentioned in conversations involving superstars of Giannis's caliber. Today, they're a legitimate destination, a place players actually want to consider. That alone speaks volumes about how far the franchise has come. If the day comes when Giannis Antetokounmpo decides it's time to move on, the Knicks must be ready. Because opportunities like this don't come often, and for a franchise chasing its first championship in over 50 years, missing it could mean waiting another generation. For now, all eyes are on Milwaukee. But make no mistake, in New York, the dream of seeing Giannis in orange and blue is alive, and it's growing louder by the day.